All right, guys. So there's a U.S. soccer reporter by the name of Grant Wall, and he's 48 years old. He was covering the World Cup in Qatar, and I think he's supposed to be there 37 days, and he's supposed to go to as many games as he possibly could. You know, write articles, do podcasts, all this stuff. Very, very busy. Well, he died. 48 years old. He died. He died while in the middle of covering a game. So I tweeted about this here. Grant Wall, 48-year-old soccer reporter, was kicked out of a game at the World Cup by Qatari officials when he showed up wearing a rainbow flag shirt a few weeks ago. Today he died while covering the Netherlands versus Argentina game. This deserves a full investigation. Super suspicious. So we talked about this guy. This is the shirt he was wearing. Now, by the way, his brother's gay. This is the shirt he was wearing. It was a rainbow shirt. And when he showed up to a game, Qatari officials kicked him out and said, "You can't come in because you're wearing that shirt. We don't allow that." So he got on their bad side, let's say. Here's another post that he put on Twitter the day before he died. New World Cup Daily, day 25. They just don't care. Qatari World Cup organizers don't even hide their apathy over migrant worker deaths, including the most recent one. The Guardian reported 6,500 migrant workers died while building this, World Cup village and all the stadiums. 6,500. Now, they deny it, but of course they're going to fucking deny it. It's basically like slave labor that they're using. They use all this immigrant labor. They're working out in 120 degrees. They don't have adequate nutrition. So he was criticizing them over the migrant deaths. Again, a day later, he dies. Now, the situation does get complicated because he apparently had been sick leading up to his death. So here he is on a podcast. This was literally a day before he died. And here's what he said.
We had 2 days here without games after 17 straight days of games. And my body, I think, told me, even after the US went out, dude, you are not sleeping enough. And it rebelled on me. And so I've had a case of bronchitis this week. I've been to the medical clinic at the media center twice now, including today. I'm feeling better today. I basically canceled everything on this Thursday that I had and napped. And I'm doing slightly better. That you can probably tell in my voice that I'm not at 100% here. Hopefully I will not cough during this podcast. I'm coughing a lot. Everyone's coughing here. This is by no means limited to me. Like, so many journalists have got a crazy cough. It sounds like a death rattle sometimes. The only thing that's surprising to me, actually, is there isn't that much COVID here. I thought there might be a real issue with that. We're not really seeing COVID cases. We're just seeing a lot of general sickness, coughing, colds. And I can't wait to be on the other side of what I have, but I am going to be ready to go. I'm attending on Friday.
Okay, so he's sick. He says it's bronchitis. He had tested for COVID and came back negative every time he tested for it. It could be, some other illness. He says a lot of the, reporters are sick. So it's very possible that, this 48-year-old man died from having this illness. But he also does say here that he's starting to feel better. And this is a day before he died. Okay? Now, here's his brother. His brother's Eric Wall. I believe this is the brother who's gay. And so when Grant was wearing that shirt, it was in solidarity with the LGBTQ community across the world, but also with his brother. So here's his brother. This is very heartbreaking. He looks just like him, and he's going to comment on what happened.
My name is Eric Wall. I live in Seattle, Washington. I am Grant Wall's brother. I am gay. I am the reason he wore the rainbow shirt to the World Cup. My brother was healthy. He told me he received death threats. I do not believe my brother just died. I believe he was killed. And I just beg for any help. My name is Eric Wall.
So his brother is not buying the story that, he was just sick and he died. He's not buying that story. So now CNN, this is on the night that we got this news that he died. They're going to report on it here. Let's see what they say.
Oh my God, we have shocking breaking news tonight from the World Cup. U.S. Soccer says journalist Grant Wahl has died while covering the World Cup in Doha. Grant Wahl's wife, Celine Grounder, posted the U.S. Soccer statement on Twitter and wrote, "I am so thankful for the support of my husband Grant Wahl's soccer family and of so many friends who've reached out tonight. I'm in complete shock." Christine Brennan is with me now. This is unbelievable. We were just speaking about the World Cup and in light of the Title IX players, and now we're getting this horrible news about his death. What does the statement say?
Well, Grant, first of all, Laura was a colleague and friend of mine. I've covered many, many soccer tournaments, especially women's soccer tournaments with him. There is no more respected, beloved soccer journalist in the country and potentially in the world than Grant Wahl. And this is absolutely heartbreaking news. It is stunning, shocking. It's just awful news. One of the most talented, lovely human beings you could ever want to meet. What U.S. Soccer has said, looking at it on my phone here, that they are heartbroken to learn that we have lost Grant Wahl. It goes on for quite a few sentences, but fans of soccer and journalism of the highest quality knew we could always count on Grant to deliver insightful and entertaining stories about our game and all the teams and what have you. His passion for soccer and commitment to elevating its profile across our sporting landscape played a major role in helping to drive interest in and respect for our beautiful game. And it may be most important here, Laura, as important as U.S. Soccer is saying in its statement about Grant Wahl, Grant's belief in the power of the game to advance human rights was and will remain an inspiration to all. There's several more sentences, but that is such an important point because it was Grant who was wearing that rainbow T-shirt just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, as the World Cup began, and was detained for, I believe it was about a half hour, when the authorities at the stadium, the Qatari authorities, were telling him he couldn't go in with that T-shirt. And what did Grant Wahl do? He didn't take that T-shirt off. He kept it on, and he sat there until one of the supervisors for the Qatari officials in that stadium at the World Cup allowed him to go ahead and do his job with that T-shirt on. That was Grant Wahl.
Unbelievable to know the importance of that message, the importance of what it represented on the world stage at a time when the world was watching, and to think about the loss of such a respected man. And many people know his wife, Celine Grounder. She was, remember, a member of the COVID-19 advisory board transition team for President Biden. She's an American infectious disease specialist. And
so that's it. There's no further commentary on, hey, this is kind of suspicious. I don't expect CNN to go all in on, this is definitely foul play or whatever, but I would expect them to say, hey, maybe this deserves an investigation, an independent investigation, not one done by the Qatari officials. I don't think that's too much to ask for an independent investigation, because to say this is fishy is a massive, massive understatement. He directly pissed off top Qatari officials by effectively making a mockery of their primitive and backwards ideology, by wearing that rainbow shirt, by refusing to take it off, by being hypercritical of them, including their migrant deaths, by doing it consistently while he's there, and then, wow, would you look at that, a 48-year-old ends up dead. But, he had a cough, and he had a cold, so it was just that. Even though he said he was getting better, it's just that. Now, look, I don't want to besmirch that idea. Is it possible that, yeah, he was sick, and this thing took a turn for the worse? Absolutely, that's possible. Absolutely. But man, it really would be convenient for those Qatari officials who definitely wanted to off him because he was a thorn in their side. Remember, things are just done differently in certain places. Just like when MBS had Jamal Khashoggi killed, a Washington Post journalist. He was killed and chopped up into little bits and pieces. He probably didn't even expect the fucking international backlash that he got over that. And he didn't even get a slap on the wrist from the American government. Now we have this guy dying in very suspicious circumstances. A lot of people are going to act like it's case closed. It is definitely not case closed. It's possible that he died from just being sick, but it's also possible, it's more nefarious than that. It's also possible he was poisoned. Definitely is. And they know they had the perfect cover story, too, if they wanted to do it. Hey, he's been complaining about being sick, so maybe people just blame the sickness if we do something. By the way, so, look, do I know what happened? No, I don't know what happened. But I definitely know it deserves an investigation, for sure. For sure. I got one more curveball for you at the end here. Look at this. Khalid al-Mislam, a Qatari, Died suddenly while covering the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. He's the second journalist to die in Qatar in 48 hours. Another journalist died. You tell me this doesn't deserve an investigation? Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And if you're a journalist in Qatar right now and you've ever criticized the government, you better get the fuck out of Dodge, bro. You better get the fuck out of Dodge. Crazy, crazy story. Look, I don't begrudge people for being agnostic, for being like, I don't know. I don't begrudge people for even saying, hey, I think it's likely that the illness was the thing that killed Grant Wall. I don't begrudge you that. That's fine. But don't fucking look at people and argue with a straight face. It was definitely the illness, and we don't need an investigation. Fuck you if that's your opinion. Fuck you. Because that is comically stupid and naive. So, anyway, that's my commentary on it. Full investigation. It's very, very sketchy. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.